Hello, Craig.
It's all on you, it's all on me. Can't you see? It's all on you, it's all on me. You and me, can't you? It's all on you, it's all on me.
Hey, Craig. Right or wrong, we don't care. Win or lose, we don't care. We don't care. We don't care. We don't care.
Hey, Jeff.
Craig. Dude. I don't know, by the way, I don't know if you can see this beer. Have you ever, like, this beer is carbonated like champagne. All right. I'm sorry. I was like blown away by this beer that's carbonated like champagne. I don't know, man. Like, can you see
don't
that? Yeah. Anyway,
I don't know. It's a fresh hop, so maybe it's just it's getting a little long in the tooth.
that could be it. I don't know. Did anything happen this week, Craig? Did something happen?
I'm about people, and I'm about as loyal as it gets. And I know that word has been thrown around here, and people don't want to hear it. But I don't know if you can show that after 19 years in one place, building the national championship program day after day.
Motherfucker.
He's about as loyal as it gets.
He's about as loyal as
hey.
it gets, Craig.
Hey, Jeff. This is Podcast versus Everyone, episode whatever.
243. It's 243.
243. I'm Craig Powers. With me, as usual, is Jeff Newser. And I say we are as loyal as it gets. We've been doing this podcast 243 episodes.
243
and add on another over a decade on a Wazoo blog, including covering the Paul Wolf era. And that's about as loyal as it gets. Not even making it an entire calendar year at your job. Not so much loyal, and not
doesn't
saying
seem particularly loyal.
Not saying employers owe their employees owe their employers shit, because they don't.
They don't.
But when you come out and say stuff like that, you're gonna get ripped on if you don't deliver on it.
Yeah.
Like, I'm sorry,
that's-
like, you're setting us up because you said it in your opening press conference.
That is
January.
the genesis of my anger. That, like, my anger, which has flowed out with so many F words in the last, like, whatever it is, 5 days at this point. Like, the genesis of it is literally that quote, right? Like,
Yeah.
don't walk in, don't be like, I'm as loyal as it gets, and blah, blah, blah. And by the way, like, the context of that quote was Jake Dickert, like a week before he left, was like, talking about how loyal he is and how excited he is for what we're doing and how much he can't wait to whatever. And, as they were preparing for the Holiday Bowl and maybe John Mateer isn't going to leave and all this stuff. And then all of a sudden, basically in the middle of the night, he takes the job to go to Wake Forest. And, like, you're just like, what the fuck? And so, 2 weeks later, right, or whatever it was, Jimmy Rogers gets the job and he comes in and says basically the same thing, right? Which is, like, well, hey, listen, I understand y'all are hurting. I understand this coach left you high and dry, but look, man, I'm loyal. I spent, 17 years or whatever he said, right, at the previous place between, playing and coaching and everything else. And like, all right, okay, I can kind of buy that. And then of course now, he's as loyal as it gets to Iowa State. That appears to be the case. And
we learned he took the job without even hearing his salary. Like, so you were that ready to leave? That's how loyal you were?
Yeah.
You were that ready. You're like, sure, yeah.
He was so
I'm outta
loyal that, it was like, you had me at hello, right? Like, it's like, didn't even have to make a legit proposal. Just, you had me at hello and away he went. I don't know, man. That whole story is fucking bizarre. I mean, I don't know. I assume most of our listeners are familiar with it, at least at this point, but maybe not, because we're so fucking weird and online that, we hear everything. But, I don't know how many people followed what the Iowa State folks have said. Probably not that many, given that we probably generally don't care at that point. But the Iowa State athletic director basically revealed that the two of them have been in contact for years. They met a couple of years, 3 years ago at some kind of coaching conference, right? These coaches all go to big networking coaching conferences every year. They met up there. They ended up at a table together, this is like every meet cute story that ever existed, right? Went to a conference, ended up at a table together, exchanged phone numbers. And then all of a sudden, they're texting each other, and apparently they continued texting each other while he was our coach. And then the coaching carousel does what it does. Penn State couldn't get anybody to take their job. And then eventually they take Matt Campbell from Iowa State. And within, 2 days, Jimmy Rogers is off to Ames, apparently for his dream job or some fucking bullshit. And it's like, here we are again, 11 months later, looking at doing this whole fucking thing again. And, we went through this whole season thinking, okay, we're building towards something. And now, you're not, maybe, I don't know. Like I was doomsday right off the top. Maybe it's not as bad as I thought. Like, we haven't had a wave of people running to the portal. Some of that is that the portal doesn't officially open now until January. So I guess players are kind of waiting to declare, so that's a good thing. But at the same time, it's like, fuck, man, if it turns out the way I think it's probably going to, like, you're going to lose most of your recruiting class. You're going to end up kind of in a worse spot roster wise than you were if Jimmy Rogers had never shown up, and all that for a 6-win season. Like, I don't know.
And that's a reasonable expectation, because that is what happens no matter the coach. Like, if you bring in the greatest coach, if you bring Nick Saban, like, still players are going to leave, and he's going to turn over the roster and whatever. Like, it doesn't matter. It's going to be a whole new team again.
Yep.
And we were talking a fucking week ago about how nice it was going to be to have some stability headed into a bowl game for once. And no, here we are again. At least those players, the portal is after the bowl game. But are they going to play? I don't know. We'll see.
Well, at this point, we're less than 2 weeks from the game.
play.
We're less than 2 weeks from the game, and we haven't had like a whole bunch of people declaring they're opting out. So I imagine they're playing. And like you said, there's a ton of seniors who gain nothing by sitting out. So, so at least we have that. But yeah, I guess that's the upside, is that it seems like the players are still really motivated to play, which, should
like,
make it fun for us.
It's same as, it's like who's left to coach, like who's going to be running the team for the prep for the bowl. It's, obviously you would expect
Jesse Bobbitt.
Yep. You would expect Wazoo to hire someone in the next week, but that they're not going to step in and coach the bowl game. That never happens. Because they're, but it's it's frustrating. Depending on if it's an FCS coach that's in the playoff, it could be longer than a week. Because obviously people talk about Vegan at Montana State, and they got 3 more rounds of the FCS playoffs potentially. And they're the favorite. Like, that has been a crazy bracket, and they are left as the favorite. Yeah. And so they're the best team standing. They could easily advance to the title game.
Yep.
They are expected to advance the title game. That's another 3 weeks.
Yeah.
And so if that's one of your hires, whatever, that could be extended. But obviously there's other names. But yeah, the general vibe, this is like, fucking sucks. It's 2 years in a row we're dealing with this shit. And then after we tried to coddle us and tell us it'll be okay. I'll be loyal, whatever. No, you had one foot out the door the entire damn time.
Apparently,
you were just waiting for Matt Campbell to get hired.
Yeah,
which
apparently.
People have been expecting him to get hired away from Iowa State for a long time.
I know. People expect him to get hired away when we beat him in the Hall or beat him in the Alamo Bowl. Like, it was like, all right, Matt Campbell, up and comer.
That's 7
7
years ago.
I know.
Like,
all of a
people were
sudden it's
expecting to get-
2025 and you're like, holy shit, like he's still there, I don't know. Like, side note, could be a really good hire for Penn State, whatever. I don't really give a fuck. But
Nope.
Rogers leaving, and then the bullshit Twitter message that was just like, and look, I mean, I don't know, like who knows what's real and what's intentional and what's just him being a dumbass. Like, I don't know, but like the Twitter message was like, hey, I'm so proud of what I did with the players and the coaches, and yeah, see ya. Like, it was like, no, like, hey, thanks Wazoo for giving me a shot. No. And look, I'm not one of those guys who's like,
were you proud of like losing like twice as many games as you had ever lost in your head coaching career?
Like, but it's like, I'm not one of those guys who's like, well, he didn't say thank you, like that's definitely not it. But it's more just like, okay, like a basic sense of like awareness, means like, maybe say thanks. I don't know. Like it makes you look good to simply say, hey, thanks Pullman, thanks Wazoo, thanks fans, but we know what he thinks of us as fans because he couldn't quite ever let go of the attendance situation. And it's like he, the person who hired him got fired. So maybe he just felt like, well, fuck it, man. Like, I don't give a fuck about Washington State anymore. I don't know, but it's like, he wouldn't have that job without taking this job. And so maybe just, a tiny ounce of gratitude might be appropriate, at least, just appropriate. And, he just, whatever, man. So, I mean, clearly all along, he was here as long as he needed to be, which, shouldn't be a shock. I mean, I know when we hired him and I was like, wait, he had been there all this time. The guy who had been the previous coach had been there, 2 decades or whatever, forever. Right. They turned the keys over to him and 2 years later, he's leaving for Washington State. And I was like, I wrote a big thing at the time that was like, hey, Jimmy Rogers believes in WSU and so should you. Like, I was like, this guy is fired up to be here with us. He sees something. That's why he's leaving South Dakota State. And as it turns out, that wasn't fucking it at all. Like, I was just talking myself into something that was not actually there because I wanted to believe that the guy was not a fucking backstabber, but it turns out that's what he is. So
he got a big raise to come to Wazoo, and now
and bolster his resume.
And bolster his resume, and in the process make over $1 million more than he was making the year before.
Yeah, pretty good.
Become a millionaire for the first time in his life, and now he'll be a millionaire for the rest of his life.
Yes.
Does Iowa State hire him directly from South Dakota State? I don't know.
It sounds like
he's richer.
It sounds like they might have.
Yeah, he's a richer man for having spent a year in Pullman and probably barely spent a dime on anything while he was here.
Yeah,
but
was he even here long enough to buy a house, or did he just rent Jake Dicker's house?
Yeah,
I don't even know. I mean, those guys, all those coaches, man, they just trade houses. That's all they do.
It's crazy that his introductory conference is January 9th.
Yeah,
and he barely. Like, he didn't even make it 11 months.
Nope. That's bizarre.
That's an all-time short coaching resume without any sort of scandal or coaching. Yeah, which makes the bullshit in the introductory conference even more annoying. But yeah, so what the fuck are we gonna do now? Like, what are we gonna do now?
I don't know.
We don't have an AD. We don't have an AD.
Yeah.
We don't have a football coach. We also don't have a soccer coach either.
Yeah. Our basketball team suck. We are the Dumb and Dumber.
Basketball teams both.
We are the Dumb and Dumber scene where our pets' heads are falling off. Man, this is like, Holy shit. But you know what? Like you mentioned this earlier, like we're like Bane in the movie where it's like we were forged in this shit. We were born in it, right? Like,
Yep.
like by the way, I was thinking about this, I think it was yesterday morning I was thinking about this. And I was thinking about how long you and I have been fucking doing this shit. And it's like, dude, it is, I know this is not a revelation to anybody. It is the year 2025, right? The year 2025. We launched Coug Center in August of 2008. And the reason why I thought of it was Sarah was mentioning how long you and I have been friends the other day. And like, I was like, yeah, we're doing the math. And I was like, holy shit, man, we're coming up on like 18 years of doing this garbage. And it's like, we have seen some things. Now this is a new one. We've been doing this for 18 years. This is a new
Coach
one.
of less than a year. I mean,
Yeah,
honestly,
coach of less than a year.
Let's just run it down. Okay. When you launched, and I started a few months later, when you launched, Paul Wolf was entering his first season.
Had just been
alum,
just finishing
who
up
had
his first fall camp.
A little bit of success at Eastern.
Yep.
The greatest success he ever had in his head coaching life, as that has continued on. He just got fired by Cal Poly, and his record was very WSU-esque at Cal Poly. But so yeah, we go through that 9-40. And not just 9-40, losing in incredibly blowout fashion over and over and over again.
Yep.
And then there's Dick Bennett and Mike Leach, the two most insane hires, and we'll say that this will be the most insane football hire in Wazoo history. And Bill Moose goes out and fucking just gets Mike Leach. And then we have 8 years of covering Mike Leach. And we have this identity. Our website took the identity. Brian Anderson doing his air raid playbook. Like we became like, if you searched air raid, it like Coug Center showed up.
If you search for air raid playbook, if coaches are like out there trying to find like air raid playbooks, they land on Coug Center.
Brian Anderson was the authority, and
that was a little piece of SEO magic that we had.
Yeah, we were fucking good at that. We were good at that.
We were really good at it.
And then you have Leach leaves, which we were like, okay, fine. He was here 8 years. What are you gonna do?
No, I don't think anybody was crying. It was
he
just
didn't,
like
he didn't leave after 2018. That was and then they hire Rolovich, and that. Nothing's ever going to be crazier than that fucking situation. Like,
we're cursed at that point, right?
That was a uniquely insane situation that like only happens in a global pandemic, and then you have this young defensive coordinator come in and take the reins, and we finally buy into him, and then we start having some questions, especially at the end of last year, because they lose to some awful teams. And then he leaves, and we're like, all right.
Yeah.
Whatever.
Peace out. Yeah. Like,
and then they hired Jimmy, and it takes us, half the goddamn season to trust him. And and then he leaves.
Yeah.
I was ready. I was on board. I was like, defense, let's do it. Fucking
I was gonna say,
14
and by the way,
to 10 games all
playing
fucking
the
time.
boringest fucking football that's
literally
ever been played.
I went to 4 games this year. Idaho, boring as shit. Apple Cup, not boring. That was not a Jimmy Rogers
that was the one that
style
wasn't.
game.
Yeah,
but it was also completely miserable because that was when the defense didn't work at all. And then I went to La Tech, blowout, but as boring as a blowout can be, and then the finale, a blowout as boring as like Oregon
as boring as a blowout
could be.
I know,
which was fine.
So
okay,
weird.
like it was like, okay, we won. We went 6-6. We were fine with that. Like if you told us before the season, if you go 6-6 on this schedule, we'd be fine with it. How we got there was weird, but we got there, and so we had come to an acceptance that okay, and then last week we're talking about stability and how we can look forward to maybe not losing a bunch of guys, and all this stuff. And we're back. We're back to square one, dude. Like, we're back to, but now we have all the fucking conference shit and the death of college sports as we know it on top of that. And so here we are still doing it 17 years later. And like, and you had no idea when you watched Coug Center all the fucking insane shit that would happen that would be directly impacting Wazoo. Like in that 17 years. And you probably never thought you'd still be doing this shit in 17 years.
I mean, not like this. Like, I don't know, man. I just like when I like stopped doing Coug Center and thought, all right, well, let's keep doing the podcast and, that'll be a fun thing to do. But my problem is I'm a sicko and a weirdo. And so I'm like, all right, well, let's add a newsletter so I can write every once in a while. And then next thing I know, I'm writing
every once in a while
3 fucking times a week and doing whatever. So yeah, it's we are about 86 years old in internet years at this point. So we've seen some things. I feel like we're grizzled, and I feel like whatever's coming next is another thing. The only thing I'm honestly I'm mad about the loyalty stuff, whatever. But it's like, honestly, if we really get down to it, the thing that I'm most upset about is just like, job number one was rolling into this first year of the new Pac-12 ready to like steamroll some people. Yeah. Like, I wanted right off the top to like walk in there and crush. And we were set up to potentially do that. Like, with the guys that were still going to be around, the seniors who were leaving seemed for the most part pretty replaceable. Lots of young guys played this year. The offense still needed a bit of an overhaul, but you could see a scenario where the defense goes a little bit backward, maybe. The offense takes a pretty big step forward with, a little bit of a personnel overhaul and, guys maturing. And, you're better than you were. Plus, the schedule next year is going to be weaker than it was this year. I know we play our non-conference games are really tough, but the conference schedule is going to be pretty weak. It's going to look a lot like what our schedule was last year, which ranked 103rd or something. Like, it was, much weaker than it was this year. And so the thinking is, all right, if you can just be, honestly, if you can be as good as you were this year, you're going to be contending for a Mountain West title, or Mountain West, God, what the fuck is wrong with me? Pac-12 title with all those Mountain West teams coming over. That's what I meant to say. And it's like, but now, who knows? I mean, again, portal, whatever. Maybe it's just a blip. Maybe there's no difference. Maybe it's just all whatever it is. Maybe you hire Vegan. He brings half his team with him. You bring half the FCS champs with you, and you're fine. I don't know, but the risk of taking a step backward or at least like stalling, to me, that's the part that really pisses me off. Is it's like, we were on a track to hit the ground running in the new conference, and now we're not. Like, maybe it works out okay still, but we're not on that track anymore.
Well, it's. I think you wrote it and you said it in the Slack. That really made sense to me. Is that we're like, we would have been better off if Jimmy Rogers never took the job.
Yeah, for sure.
We've been better off if a coach came in and went 5-7. But was still going into next year. Like, we'd have been better off. We would have been more set up, but now we have to reset again. Yeah. And we have to reset at the worst time. Like you said, this is finally something we can feel a little bit more excitement about Wazoo football again. Cause like, these 2 years have been like, we're not competing for anything. Yeah. Now it's like, okay, we would be competing in a league, in a Pac-12, where we should have been like one of the top 2 teams, like potentially like getting first place votes and all that stuff. And that is like something that's not happened very often in Wazoo football history. And so that would have been exciting. And to be able to like, hey, we're competing for a league title in a league that we essentially built, like with Oregon State. Yeah. And we were in much better position than Oregon State. I think we still are, to be honest.
I think so too.
But we were much better. We would have just been lapping them. And the only really, like, you look at the teams. Obviously, we're gonna be playing one coming up in the bowl game. But they're not even they're one of the better ones, and not at this level of the Mountain West has been in years past. Boise State's not even at that high of level. It's kind of annoying. Like, hey guys, we're bringing you in. Can you not be so shitty?
Can we not go into down cycles right now? I don't.
Now it's like we really
can
want.
avoid that.
Hey, you Tulane?
Yeah.
You want to come over?
Yeah.
But yeah. So it's like it's so frustrating to just. There's an obvious like dearth of excitement around college football and Cougar football right now. It's clear in the attendance. It's obvious. Like we've always had bad attendance. Yes, in a lot of games, in a lot of November games. But what I saw, and I'm not even talking about the students, I'm talking about the alums. What I saw against Louisiana Tech and Oregon State was like some crazy low attendance. And like crazy game day low attendance. But we were going into the Pac-12 where but this was even a year where we always said, we know the game times ahead of time. That'll help.
Yeah.
Well, that didn't matter.
Turns out that made no difference. And they were also good game times too. That was the other thing. Like,
they were
in general, they were not bad game times.
Yeah. The La Tech game was late.
Yes,
but the Oregon State game was a mid-afternoon game, 3:30. That's 2 to 3. That's like ideal time. But yeah, still like attendance was bad, and just thinking back to like in 2018 when 5-5 WSU was playing 5-5 Oregon State, and that stadium was lit. And
I was at that game.
I was at that game too.
It was a great
the stadium was crazy, and it was full, and like. And it was on fire, and we were playing for the same thing.
Yeah. Max Borghi gets that touchdown at the end. The whole place goes bananas.
But and here you have WSU essentially in the same position. They're 5-6 and need a win to go to a bowl game.
Nobody cares.
And nobody cares. But I was just hoping like the move to Pac-12 and to potentially be a dominant team, build some of that interest back.
I mean, people like to win. No doubt about it.
And
I'll say this: hope you would do that.
I'm not even dogging the fans. Like this has been a fucking hard couple years to be a fan of Washington State athletics.
I didn't go to a game this year.
Yeah, it's been hard. Like honestly, I've been fortunate. I have some friends that a couple situations where I can crash. So that really helped. Like I didn't pay any money for lodging, except for the Apple Cup, which we know we got a great deal on. Thanks to the Slack. But so that helped. Like I could just make it out to games. Like we were like already in Yakima. I could just drive over or something.
Yeah.
And so, cause I got family in Yakima, but yeah, so it was kind of fortunate but I was looking at like after the Apple Cup, I'm like, I don't know if I'm going to be able to make a game, but I ended up just making it to 2 more. But, like the excitement is just, I hang out with, some of the crazy, when I'm there, it's like craziest Cougs. And they're doing everything the same, but at the same time, we're all kind of like the intensity around the games is not the same. Like the feeling, like I just don't get as riled up unless we're losing to a shitty team.
Stakes matter. Like stakes absolutely matter. We learned a lot of things during COVID. That was one of them. It's like if there's no stakes, it's just not as interesting. And a bowl game, those are stakes to some degree, but
the point now, we've been to bowl games so often that they don't have the novelty. Like honestly, like when the Boise game got announced, if it was pre like 2 kids, I probably would have like, oh yeah, I'm going. Or pre like even when I just had 1 kid, like, it was easier to do stuff like that. But I booked quickly a flight to Boise on like the 24-hour cancellation, just in case.
Yeah.
But then I was like, I can't do it. Like my wife just started a new job. She can't really take the days off for the kids and all that crap. But that's like, and that's like Christmas vacation and all that stuff. So it's like, but this is the easiest bowl game to travel that WSU has ever had. Like it legit, like the point, like I used points I canceled it, but I used points. It wasn't even that bad. Yeah. Like you could drive there in 8 hours. I don't recommend it. There's like 3 different mountain passes that you're going to cross on the way there
on December 20th or whatever. I just,
I'm sure there will be.
Maybe if you're driving a Subaru Outback or something, like maybe not too bad, but other than that.
I'm sure there will be cooks do it, but from Pullman, it's not nearly as bad. From Spokane, it's not nearly as bad.
Yeah.
Especially flying.
I'm just glad that this is kind of finally the end of like the wilderness and like, there's so many things that piss me off, obviously. Yet another thing that pisses me off is we should actually be enjoying this. We should actually be like, this was a hell of an accomplishment against a really tough schedule. Which, I wrote about, right? I was like, give Jimmy his flowers. It was painful to watch, and they had the near misses, but honestly, is there really in this year, really a big difference between 6 wins and 8 wins? Probably not, whatever. And so I'm trying to, rah, 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 and I'm going to get excited. And finally we're going to watch a fucking bowl game for the first time since, I don't know, 2018. Where it's like
it feels like
it feels like everybody wants to be there.
Yeah.
And, it's, 2019, Cheese It, that was a fucking mess. And then COVID and then, and then really starting 2021, that's the whole, which bowl was that one? That was the one, another
Fresno
one down
State.
there. Down there.
The LA Bowl? Was that
No,
LA
no,
Bowl?
I'm thinking of the one in Arizona after COVID where they ended up, like, the team we were supposed to play dropped out and played Central Michigan.
That was a Sun Bowl.
Okay, Sun Bowl. Yeah, that's right.
Yeah.
And so anyway,
And
down
the next
there,
year
and
was
then and friggin' Delora opts out at halftime, basically, and it's just like it just seems like ever since then, like the bowl games have been, just like either messed up or people wanting to sit out or coaching
honestly,
change or whatever. And this felt like one where it wasn't going to be like that. And
I know, and under Leach, they weren't. A lot of them weren't particularly enjoyable to watch.
No,
obviously the Alamo Bowl was
that was kind of it. That was kind of it.
Yeah,
lots of less good outside.
Yeah,
of
lots
one.
Of no chance to win or.
I don't know. I'm gonna try to enjoy this as best I can. I'll really only get to watch the first half because we had already planned a family trip up to Victoria, and we've got high tea at Bouchard Gardens later that day. So we will not be able to watch the entire game. But my hope, by the way, is that maybe, I don't know, cross your fingers, we actually have a new coach at that point who can sit there on TV and talk about all the exciting things that he's going to do. I don't know. How you feeling about that? How do you like, I mean, I don't know. Maybe I should ask you right off the top. How do you feel about Kirby Moore? Given that apparently he was in Pullman today, I guess, if you believe
maybe
grainy video footage from Greg Woods of the Spokesman Review.
Hey, what else you gonna do? You got to go camp by the.
I know. You know what? I absolutely admire the endeavor and industriousness for sure. I don't know, man. Kirby Moore though, like he fits a lot of the stuff I think you and I would both like, which is, he's offensive. Let's start with that because that's got to happen.
Look, we had talked ourselves into it. Excuse me. We had talked ourselves into, fine. This is our identity now. We're defense. It's gonna be kind of boring, but
it's okay. We can.
We're just gonna love. We're gonna
give ourselves a pep talk.
We're gonna be like with Dick Bennett, Tony Bennett. We did it. Yeah. We figured it out. We became our culture, even though we've for so many years have been like the culture of Washington State football is throwing the ball around. So yeah, it would be great to have an offensive minded coach who has had success and has ties to the area, all that stuff. him working at as an assistant at an SEC school is encouraging because he would have met people. Because what we always talk about with these hires, and now we've talked about it way too fucking much in the last 5 years.
I know.
It is what connections they have. The assistants matter so much. Much of Mike Leach's success was built on a really good assistant group, and that's so important. And I think Kirby would have that. He's young, but he would still have connections to like good staffers. He can give some guys promotions and stuff.
You look at his coaching tree, man. Okay, so he's coming from Missouri right now, which you mentioned. But before that, he was at Fresno State where he worked under Jeff Tedford and Kalen DeBoer. That's pretty good. And then, of course, the Boise State tree, right? So for people who don't know, younger brother of Kellen Moore, played at Boise State. And then also, of course, his brother is Kellen Moore, head coach of the New Orleans Saints. And, there's connections there as well. So, yeah, I mean, to your point, I think that part is, even though he's young, he's, 35, I think. Sorry, Craig, younger than you. But
a lot younger at this point.
A lot younger now at this point. But he
Jimmy Rogers is younger than me. So.
That is true. Jimmy Rogers was younger.
This would just be the third consecutive coach that is younger than me.
Point is, I think you're right. I think there are connections there, and I think that part's encouraging. I was not hoping for, and this still could happen. Everything, whatever. I mean, it might mean nothing. There might legitimately, he might have not been in Pullman today. Honestly, that's the weirdest fucking story, man. For anybody who's listening to this who's like a casual fan and not extremely online. Like, in fact, you were not online very much today, so this had to be.
No, I was having to catch up on the Slack so many times, and it was just like,
you probably were like, "What the hell is happening here?"
You're reading it in like revert because you try to scroll up, but like you're on the way. You're like reading it in reverse chronological order and being like, "What the fuck are they talking about?"
Okay, so Greg Woods of just to recap really quick. Greg Woods of the Spokesman Review apparently is camping out at Pullman Airport or something like that. Sees a car with people in it. Thinks one of the guys is Kirby Moore. He's got the video. He's like, "That's Kirby Moore. That's Kirby Moore." And so he posts it to Twitter, says Kirby Moore is in Pullman, then takes it down. And it's like, wait a second, what is happening?
He probably got yelled at.
Have they determined it's not Kirby Moore? And because again, it's not super clear. And then sometime, not that much longer, maybe half an hour or something, it's back up. Kirby Moore's in Pullman. The video is there. He's running with the story that Kirby Moore is in Pullman, which again, the video is kind of, and as far as like anybody else who should be able to confirm or deny that he's there to presumably interview, right? Nobody in Missouri seems to be able to confirm or deny that Kirby Moore either is in Pullman or isn't in Pullman, which to me is like the most bonkers part of this story. Like, I cannot believe somebody could not just text someone who would say yes or no, he's, or at least yes or no, he's in Missouri, right? Like, I don't know, maybe.
Well, yeah. And
whatever.
Yeah. Like there wasn't some like beat reporter for Mizzou, some SEC writer.
Yeah.
Some even like it's SEC, ESPN pundit, ESPN reporter couldn't get verification on this. Like that's so weird.
It was
when
so weird.
You have the offensive coordinator at a SEC school, potentially interviewing somewhere, and no one could be like, no, he's not doing that. No, he's right here. He's at the fucking Waffle House
sitting in
down
our
the
team
street
meeting right now, or whatever.
like whatever, and then he's, but no one could even say that. No one could say no, he's here. Like I'm talking to him right now. No one could say that, and no one would say, oh yeah, he flew to Pullman. Like that's so weird, dude.
I know the whole thing was weird, and so
weird.
Apparently he's a candidate, I guess. Like I said, offense forward coach. By the way, their running game is fucking awesome. So I don't know if that's what we're looking for exactly, but they scored a lot of points this year. Their
Well,
running backs are very, very good.
We saw a running game this year that was so beyond vanilla. Vanilla has flavor. It was
Yeah. Yeah,
it
this
was
was like
fucking
minus
nothing.
the vanilla. Yeah.
Yeah, like vanilla gets a bad rap because it is
Yeah,
a flavor.
vanilla is a flavor, folks. Vanilla is a flavor. Imagine ice cream without vanilla in it. That does exist. You can make ice cream with no vanilla in it.
with no
That was
vanilla.
our running attack this year.
Yeah, like it was like, oh yeah, same inside zone
I know.
over and over
Just
and
run it up
over and
in
over
there.
and over again. But
Yeah.
so yeah, like a creative running attack.
Yeah. Just a creative attack in general, man. Just give
creative
me some
attack.
kind of creativity on offense. And that's why, like, when I wrote about candidates and things like that, I was like, yeah, if Chip Kelly's name came up, has come up, I'm like, hell yeah, if Chip Kelly wants it, fuck yeah, bring him on, And I know
Yeah, why
people
not?
are like, UCLA, whatever. I'm like, man, UCLA's a shit show. He was there for 6 years before he finally threw in the towel. Like, I don't blame him one bit. I know he's a brilliant offensive mind. I know he would have some cachet right off the top with recruits. I know he didn't want to deal with NIL down at UCLA, but again, that's a different situation, trying to manage that money versus what the money is we're dealing with, which is, a much smaller pot.
Also,
So he's creative.
Not many coaches recently have had a lot of success at UCLA.
No, I think that's the tell. There's a through line here, and it ain't the coaches at UCLA. So, so yeah, offensive minded, creative offensive mind. That's what I would love to have. Jonathan Smith, his name came up at first. That hasn't seemed to get any traction. Vegan, you mentioned Vegan again, same kind of deal. He's a guy who was a candidate for the job a year ago. His biggest claim to fame is he was at North Dakota State and recruited Carson Wentz and developed Carson Wentz, and then went to Wyoming and recruited and developed Josh Allen. That's pretty good. And then he's had, some really good offenses at Montana State. They've had a number of quarterbacks. He's been there, I think, 5 years. At this point, they've had a number of quarterbacks come through who have been really good. I found out today because I was looking at some stuff. He's got a son who's a freshman. He's a 6'6", 200-pound quarterback who's redshirting this year. So yeah, so that's another one I could totally get behind. But it's got to be offense, man. I can't fucking do this again by choice. Like I can't sit there and like try to be like, oh, it's raining when someone's pissing on me. Like I can't do this again. So please don't do this. Some other defensive guys have come up. Johnny Nansen is one guy who came up, Palouse Posse guy, he's defensive coordinator at Texas. I guess I could do that one. If they've, and I feel dirty even saying this, but if they have sort of the Jake Dickert approach, which, Jake was an defensive guy, but, wasn't afraid obviously of open offenses. So, if it's Nansen or Brian Ward's another guy, he was in Pullman for a year under Jake Dickert, now he's the defensive coordinator at Arizona State. Again, if they're open to wide open offenses, that's fine. But I honestly, I think you get more bang for your buck in Pullman if the head coach is an offensive guy. So, that's what I want. I would love a retread just because I think those kinds of distressed assets maybe provide a little more stability, a little more leadership right away. They're not, we have complained numerous times about David Riley learning on the job as a basketball coach. As Kirby Moore. Like Kirby Moore's a 35-year-old with no head coaching experience. So, and I don't think having not having head coaching experience should be disqualifying. I want to be really clear about that. I don't think that should be disqualifying, but also like there are trade-offs with that. Maybe he hustles, maybe he's brilliant, maybe he's whatever, but also he's still trying to figure shit out. And, I was really hoping to not have a coach trying to figure shit out heading into this season. So,
I mean, we even saw some of that with Dickert, some, growing pains and head coaching, and we
definitely
even saw
it
some
this
of
year
that
with Jimmy.
Yeah, we definitely saw it with Jimmy. Jimmy's only in his third year. It was only his third year being a head coach, and his first year being an FBS head coach.
And his first 2 years at FCS, they pretty much routinely beat the shit out of people. Like that's a different kind of coaching than trying to go on the road and close out a game against Virginia or Mississippi or whatever. So
we saw there was some learning, and you're welcome. In Iowa State, he learned some stuff, and he's probably a better coach than he was a year ago.
Yeah.
You're welcome.
I honestly, by the way, are you gonna follow him with any sort of like Schadenfreude or anything like that? Like, do you care?
I mean, for me, it's gonna be like, if he wins, whatever, don't give a shit. It's if he loses, I will laugh at that. Like that's kind of how
that
I'm
seems like a
operating
good
with.
approach.
That's kind of how I'm operating with Dickert as well.
Yeah,
if he wins,
yeah.
whatever, dude. Good
That's
for
a good
him. I don't
approach.
care. Like,
I like that.
if he loses, that'll be just funny. Like, whatever.
that'd be
Like,
funny.
but if he wins, if Dickert wins, they both win. It's like, hey, come to Wazoo. Like, you could be a great. It's
That's
like
true. Come to Wazoo. And
come to Wazoo.
we'll
You're
just-
going to be like a top draft pick at quarterback,
Hey.
and you're going to be.
I mean, somebody pointed this
great
out on the Slack. Like we our new financial fundraising mechanism is buyouts, football coach buyouts. Like just keep cashing those sweet buyout checks.
Come to Wazoo. You're going to get a great job
Yeah.
in a couple years, maybe
Yeah.
even one. But your buyout's $10 million.
Yeah. It feels like we're doing the like world soccer thing where you sell players, except we're doing it with coaches. Like we're like, all right,
We
let's
need to
find a young
sell-
bright.
We need a sell-on fee if Jimmy then gets hired by Michigan.
Yeah, there
we
we go.
need a portion of
Oh
that.
my God! All
that
the jokes when Sharon Moore got fired. Which, by the way, the jokes lasted for like a couple of hours, and I was like, "Oh shit, this is bad."
Yeah,
Like,
not
this is not good. We're not joking about this anymore. But when we were joking about it, we were joking about how Jimmy would probably go take that job, having loved it for his whole life, obviously, right? And then would agree to pay that buyout from Iowa State out of his salary because that's what he's doing to pay for WSU's buyout, which is one of the weirdest fucking things I've ever heard.
Yeah, but
but-
so just to if you haven't caught up with that,
That's
Michigan,
another random
Michigan,
thing.
Sharon Moore got fired, and you can go look into it. It's
Fired with cause.
with
for an
cause,
inappropriate relationship with a staffer.
So the coaching carousel will continue. How much that level of coaching carousel will impact WSU? Well, it already did. We got our coach hired away. I don't think that any of the candidates we are looking for will be at Michigan or at any of the. I don't think we'd be fighting with
I
someone
don't
down
think
the
there are
road.
dominoes that
Michigan's
going to
hire
affect us now.
someone from another major program.
Yeah.
And so
Yeah.
we already got our coach hired away. We already went through that, and now we have to go find another one.
I do
guess
need Michigan to hire away a high-profile coach. Like I need this to happen. Because I need to
chaos.
laugh. So I'm
like
really
when
really
when Saban randomly left Alabama, and that just set the fucking off season on
Yes.
fire.
Yes.
I want that to happen again.
I need this, except on December 10th, right? Like we kind of got to a point here where we felt like, okay, the carousel has kind of stopped, right? The musical chairs are kind of there. Penn State was really the last big one, right?
Yeah.
And then all of a sudden now we got Michigan open, which is, arguably one of the top 10 jobs, right, in the country. I would think you'd put it up that high, right?
At least top 10.
Yeah. And so, like that's like a top 10 job. Well, I don't know, man. How much does Kalen DeBoer love it at Alabama? I mean, maybe he's taking a phone call with Alabama getting ready for the playoff, I mean, could you imagine if he takes that phone call and decides, you know what? Yeah, fuck this. I'm out of here because Alabama's fucking crazy. And so he decides to go to Michigan.
If
which
I lose two games, it's the end of the world.
Michigan is great because like it's a top 10 job, but you don't have top 10 expectations. I mean, you kind of do, but like, like look at how long they gave Harbaugh before he finally
you don't have
came through,
you don't have title or bust expectations.
No.
That's Alabama is
Not every
national title or bust.
right. Ohio State's like
SEC
that,
title
right?
or bust.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Georgia. How many jobs are there where it's like title or bust and that's it? Alabama's one. Georgia's another one. Ohio State is
And
one.
Georgia's only become that under
Yes.
Kirby.
Yes.
Like
under
that's
Kirby. Correct.
yeah, like that's
a recent phenomenon.
He made it into that.
Yes.
Bama was kind of always like that. They just had some like not great success in the
Right.
90s and the 80s.
Right.
But yeah, like Ohio State, like their national championship or bust. There's
Yeah.
not many left. Like some of them
No.
that we would have thought, like USC, no.
No.
Look at how Lincoln Riley's.
Yeah,
They're not going to
no.
fire him. Like
Well,
it. Like
I mean, they rolled as long as they did with Clay Helton. Like they're
Yeah.
not, you know,
in
they're
Florida,
not that.
like Texas A&M want, like they kind of act like it, but they're not.
But
like-
they're not because they haven't won
Yeah,
anything.
they got a pretty lucky draw in the
Yeah.
playoff though.
What if Michigan comes calling for Jed Fish? Come on. Oh my God. How delicious. Speaking of Schadenfreude, right? Like how delicious would that be that Washington all of a sudden would be searching for another coach? I don't know. I don't know where they go on that one, but
We'll have to be like Brock Heward and like
It'd be
do
so
some
fun.
tweet like, I really feel for the Washington fans. They've really went through it the last couple years.
Thank you. Yeah.
It's like, thanks.
I mean, this
thanks,
isn't a Husky coaching podcast, so I won't speculate on who they might call. But I also like give me one of those two, right? Give me Kalen DeBoer, or give me Jed Fish heading
Just
to
for the
Michigan. Give me one of
chaos.
those two. Man, I need this. I need them to not just like promote from within like they did with Moore. I really need them to like, you know, tip another domino to blow this shit up, because everybody needs to see as often as possible how fucking stupid all of this is and how like they have ruined what it was a cool ass sport, and done all these things to it. And it's not the players, it's not the NIL, folks. You will never ever hear me blame players for this, because this ain't their problem, man. This is the adults in the room who have been fucking it up incrementally for like 3 decades, and this is all their shit coming home to roost. And so, you know, like I need them to be the ones to pay the price here. I need all these morons over Washington Husky fans who are like, you know, oh, we had no choice but to go to the Big Ten, and it's like, you know what? Yeah, you know, you're gonna lose your coach, stepping stone again, right? They just got over losing DeBoer, believing we're not a stepping stone. Well, look, we got Jed Fish. Oh, good, Jed Fish didn't win shit, and then he's
We
gonna get
can
hired
hope.
away. I need this, Craig.
Or we could, you know, at least one of the dominoes down the line.
Yeah,
Just
need this.
another team that they've played in the playoff before, just hiring their coach away.
I know. I need it.
But
The team that beat him for the national championship. Yeah, let's go. Come on. I need this.
yeah,
All right.
but yeah, I also need a football coach at Wazoo.
Yeah, we need
that'd
one
be
of
cool.
those. I just
Also,
hope we have.
I
I hope
would
we get one of
really-
those like 15-minute infomercials during the game. That's what I'm hoping for with whoever it is. So
And Jeff, I would really love, like, something else I need is some happy Cougar sports moments, because we are in we'll talk about that a little bit later. 2 not so fun basketball seasons, but we do have a bowl game coming up.
we do.
And it would be really cool to win that bowl game against a future conference opponent.
Yeah, it would.
Who the hell's going to be coaching? We're playing Utah State, the Boise State Bowl, whatever it's called these days.
The
Potato
famous
Bowl.
Idaho Potato Bowl.
Famous
my
Idaho,
man.
not the Humanitarian Bowl. which
No,
we-
yeah. you got to be a certain age to remember that one.
Yeah. There's no humanitarianism
No.
going on.
And the famous
now. It's
Idaho
just
Potato Bowl,
potatoes.
I mean, I'm just gonna say Washington potatoes are better. I'm just gonna say that. I'm just gonna throw it out there. We don't grow as many, but it's close. It's close.
We do
It's
grow a
not-
lot.
We do grow a lot. We are the number 2
We do.
potato
Jeff
grower.
and I do.
Yeah,
The two of us.
the 2 of us grow a lot
Secret
of potatoes.
Potato.
We're the number 2
imperialists.
potato grower in the country.
Yeah.
Just the 2 of us.
We got a secret potato money.
Potato, because potatoes are famously hard to grow.
Yeah.
Not
So-
hard to grow.
So it's funny looking at, like, I'm looking at CFP graphs for the projections game, but it's like, I mean, we talk, like you said, like, the game's less than 2 weeks away, and how much could change on the roster, and there's a lot of seniors, and
Yeah.
so we could probably, say like, let's just say WSU has mostly the team that they had against Oregon
That's what it
State.
looks like it's going to be. That's what it looks
And
like.
So a CFB graph says WSU is a slight favorite on a neutral site, 25-24. So yeah, a coin toss essentially. Utah State has a pretty middling to bad defense. And these are not opponent adjusted stats. So this is a lot of this coming against that very bad Mountain West Conference this year. So, and then you're looking at WSU's offensive stats, which is coming against a much more difficult schedule. So yeah, you're looking at, how are they against the run? You want to be against the run. They're really bad against the run.
They're really bad against the run.
Really bad. They are one of the worst teams in the country. 111th in EPA per rush. Again, not opponent adjusted. This is not opponent adjusted. That's the raw 111th in EPA per rush playing against that Mountain West schedule. And then 106th in rushing success rate, or 57th in rushing success rate. But they're giving up big plays, which WSU desperately needs. So that would be cool. Big running plays. When playing WSU's defense, they have a middling offense. I would expect WSU's defense to hold them down.
Yeah.
They're not anything
Because
special.
we do still have our defensive coordinator. That's going to be our
Yep.
head coach for the game is Bobbitt. I would assume he's not going to give up coordinating or play calling duties during this game. So,
No.
so that's a good thing.
So, yeah, like I generally, if nothing had happened and we were just looking at this and analyzing it, if the teams are the same, I think a lot of the like the defensive stats are still like very much impacted by the first 4 games of the year when WSU was really struggling defensively, and by the end of the year they were
4, but yeah,
2 of the first 4.
Two of those first 4, yeah.
But when you have such bad games, there's only 12 games. Like they've dragged stuff down. But what we saw in the last half of the season, just dominant defense. I would barely ever giving up more than 10 points. I would expect that to continue against Utah State. Now, it's going to come down to taking care of the ball and scoring when they have the opportunity, which is something they have done really well. But just taking care of the ball. It looks when you're not on the turnover deficit, it looks like that Oregon State game where it was just not even close.
Yeah.
And Oregon State had no chance. And so if they could at least, not lose the turnover battle, Zevi make good decisions, make smart decisions, get that running game going.
Yeah.
Which is when the running game has worked, the offense does well. They have all the running backs in the world. Just it'd be good to see that work out. And this is a team that can happen against. So I feel pretty good. About it.
too.
We could. I don't know if you want to like predict it or like wait. We'll record next week.
We can do that next week.
But we'll get more into it. But I
yeah.
feel if everything's the same, obviously we'll know more next week if some of the roster stuff shakes out. But if everything's the same, I feel all right. And I would love. We could all use the win. We could all use.
Well,
a win.
and as we know from 2013, like big difference between 7-6 and 6-7. Like, everything feels different.
And 2019.
In 2019 as well. But 2013 especially, because that one, to me, that's the most similar to this. It would be really, really similar if Rodgers was going to still be here. But, it's like, you feel like you're building. You feel like this was an accomplishment to get here. That
Right.
team in 2019, it felt like they kind of backed in. They were,
Yes.
I mean, what they do? They won. I think they won 3 Pac-12 games, right? Like they went 3-0
Yeah.
non-conference, and then went 3-6
Yep.
in the Pac-12, and it was
Yep.
kind of like, okay, I guess we're going to a bowl game. It's like
Yep.
this is pretty different. It feels like an accomplishment. So, like for me, for the players, I would like for them to be able to pay it off by winning for themselves, so that they can say they were. And that's literally the only part of me that is, really like invested in the game. My gut reaction when Jimmy Rogers left was, well, fuck it. Turn down the bowl game. We're done. Pack it in. End the season. This is bullshit. Which of course is a stupid thing to say and a stupid posture. Because the players deserve to play and they deserve to pay it off and they have earned it. They did it with, their hard sweat, to get there. So if we're going to play it, I really want them to pay it off with a win. And I think it's possible. The key thing for me, I think, so like number one, like you said, the roster, but number two, I don't know, man, are we going to find out that Jimmy Rogers has had handcuffs on Danny Freund and the offense this whole time? Or are we going to, or is it going to be more of what it's been? I don't know. I mean, I don't think that Jimmy Rogers has been telling him to run the most bland running game in history. But at the same time, is there a chance that maybe you had him in a little bit of a straitjacket in terms of like being aggressive? So, and maybe now with nothing to lose, maybe it's Zevi time, man. Maybe this is the magical 300-yard game for Zevi because he has not had one yet. This year, 200 yards has been hard for him to get.
Yeah,
so
he can replicate that game against Syracuse.
Yeah. Maybe bookend them with, huge bowl games, except win this time. It is going to be interesting. I think it's going to be a pretty low scoring game, pretty low possession game. Both teams, offenses struggle to get into scoring areas, but they both do pretty well when they get there. We definitely have an edge on defense, even though their defense is okay. So it's just kind of like, I think I like our chances, man. I like our chances.
Yeah,
so it should be good.
But I will say that WSU's history against Mountain West teams in bowl games has not been great.
Well, bowl games are just fucking weird anyway, man.
Colorado State, Air Force, Fresno State. Yeah. Whatever. And like I said, bowl games are whatever they are. They're weird exhibitions. Like, who knows what's actually going to happen or what it's going to be like. But, I guess hopefully that'll be part of the fun and maybe we'll come up with a big win. That'd be nice. I mean, that's kind of what we've done this year against our future Mountain West opponents. So hopefully this will be another one of those and keep that rolling.
Keep.
They
that
could
rolling.
go 3-0, or I guess. Oh, never mind. So 3-0 against current Mountain West teams, and then it would be 4-1 against future Pac-12 teams. That'd be nice to finish
Not too
off
bad.
with.
Not too bad.
But yeah. So Jeff, it's been a long week, a long couple days. What are you drinking?
Well, I started with my last fresh hop that was in the fridge. This was the, as we showed at the beginning, if those of you watching on video saw, the Tangier fresh hop lager from Holy Mountain. I know it's shocking that we have a Holy Mountain beer. Craig, I think you've heard of Holy Mountain before.
Maybe
Maybe once or twice. So anyway, yeah, it was good. It's kind of old, and that was the thing. Like at the beginning, I was like, holy shit, this thing's carbonated like champagne. Like it was so bubbly. Probably, like you said, probably a byproduct of being a little bit of an old fresh hop lager. But it was excellent. Very, very enjoyable beer. I don't drink a lot of fresh hop lagers when it's fresh hop time. It's mostly fresh hop IPAs because I just kind of love that combination of like just the earthy with the bitterness and all that stuff. But a good fresh hop lager is always fun too. I've since moved on to my Old Crimson Legendary Lager, the greatest beer ever made. And yeah, that's what I'm having now. How about you, buddy?
So I am having a beer that was made more recently, but it's made with fresh kilned hops. So they're not like wet hops where they didn't process them at all.
Right.
These were in the kiln, but they're like kind of they're not like pelletized and stuff like that. But they have a little bit longer shelf life than the fresh hops. It's called No Presents for Christmas, which is what Jimmy Rogers is getting. Just a fucking lump of coal. Because you lied.
Yeah.
No presents for Christmas, Jimmy.
No presents for you, asshole.
Yeah, it's good. It's a good beer. It's like it's a good IPA from Holy Mountain. Very tasty.
Yes, we love that.
I don't have any old Crimson, so I have a Holy Mountain black beer after. Because my soul is dark right now.
Okay.
Also, black beer is like one of my favorite.
Okay,
beers
so transition. Your soul is dark, like the prospects of our basketball teams.
Yeah.
Maybe.
It's not that we like basketball at all, Jeff. It's not like we care about basketball.
I know. This is what sucks. Like, people who have listened to us for a long time, we live for basketball. Like, that is, we talk about football, we like football, but like basketball is both of us. Basketball is our first love. And it is killing us, absolutely killing us right now. Men's basketball on a 4-game losing streak, competitive in 2 of those 4. Really could have beat Arizona State, didn't. Really could have beat Bradley, didn't. Actually, I would say they were competitive against Nevada. The final margin wasn't competitive, but I mean, they actually led at halftime. It was, I think, 32 or 31 or 33-31 or something. I kind of watched it out of one eye as I was trying to hang a TV. And then I turned it off because I was like, I'm trying to hang a TV. I probably don't want to be distracted. So, and then I saw the final score and was like, well, guess I'm not watching that second half. So, and now our reward, by the way, is we get to travel to California to play USC, which is the highest ranked KenPom team we've played all year.
A good margin.
Craig, this fucking blows, Craig.
Yeah. Well, if you give up 1.24 points per possession to Nevada, you're probably not going to win. No. Some of that
if they had just done that against Arizona State, they would have won.
That's true. Some of that was Nevada hit 50% of their threes, but also we talked about last week, Jeff, is how they give up so many open threes. That's why that's why teams take them.
Yes.
And versus, Kyle Smith and many of the modern defensive coaches, they move to limit threes entirely. Like, that's your best defense, is limiting threes. We're just giving up open ones. Teams are taking them, and if they hit them, we're screwed. Yeah, because they only shot 15 of 40 from twos, but then you go 10 of 20 from three. Yeah. As you noted in your newsletter, or maybe it was a Slack, I don't remember.
By the way, can I interrupt for just 1 second? Yeah. You mentioned how many points per possession did Nevada score in the game?
1.24.
Do you want to guess what it was in the second half?
1.
So I mentioned we were leading at halftime, right? Go ahead.
I want to say 1.5.
Higher.
1.6.
Higher.
1.7. I don't know.
A little lower.
What? Like,
I feel like we're playing the Price is Right here, right? Higher, lower, higher, lower.
Okay, what was it? It
was 1.68.
Jeez, dude, come on.
Like, I know, like, people.
Well,
who
I'm looking at. They scored
us
47 points in the second half.
People who listen to us who aren't like super stat nerds like we are, and like maybe don't have the context. I don't know how to explain how horrible that is for a half of basketball. Like that's. I don't know, man. Like that is just truly almost unfathomably bad. And by the way, here's how it happens. They shoot 7 of 10 from 3. They shoot 10 of 10 from the free throw line. And they're, 8 of 22 from 2s, but it doesn't fucking matter. And they only had 3 turnovers. That's the other thing. So that is how Nevada, with its famously awesome offense under Steve Alford, not famously awesome. That's how that team scored 1.68 points per possession and a half. Which
and
is
on top of all
absolutely
that
bonkers.
stuff,
So
we've talked about how there's been some improvement in turnovers and defensive rebounding, but as you mentioned to me, you might have written about it. I don't remember where.
Nah, I haven't, because I've been writing about football, man.
It was probably just something that you texted me,
It was.
and so
Because I know where you're going with this.
You had the realization in looking at the stats against the better teams we've played, like the top 100 teams.
Yep.
Shitty defensive rebounding, and they're turning the ball over a lot. They turn the
Yep.
ball over 22% of the time against Nevada. That is bad. That is really bad. And then they gave up 38% on the offensive glass. That is also bad. Like those are not acceptable numbers typically for an offense or a defense.
Yep.
And those are not numbers that you're going to win with. 22, especially when you combine them. When you combine giving up that many offensive rebounds and you combine giving away that many possessions
And
shot volume.
And Nevada did not give away. Their turnover percentage was under 10%. 10%.
And that's why
combine
you
all of
have
that.
WSU shot 51 shots and Nevada shot 60 shots. Only one free throw more to WSU shoot. So Nevada shot volume, and then they also converted those shots.
Yep.
Like you're
9 more
no
shots,
chance in
and
that
they made
game.
a ton of threes. Yeah.
Like when you're turning over that much, you're giving up that many offensive boards. Like it's so hard to win.
Yeah.
You got to shoot lights out.
The hardest part here is like we hear David Riley's post game conferences, and he sounds like he also is befuddled, and I'm sure he is. But like you and I looking at these stat trends, it's like it's the same stuff. Like it's no real huge difference from last year.
Same stuff.
Like the defensive
last year,
rebounding is legitimately better. Like no doubt it is legit. It's not as good as maybe it could be, or like again it's when they play a tougher, bigger, more athletic opponent, it's not as strong. But it is better. But that's largely due to ND Okafor playing instead of, Ethan Price, right? Like that's
Right.
Okay. You're going to get more rebounds with that guy instead of that guy. But it's like, ultimately the defense isn't really better. The offense is substantially worse. Like that's kind of the big thing. You lose all those Eastern guys and the offense is worse. It's slower. The turnovers are still there, except now they're not getting. So in the past, it was like the turnovers are kind of the price you pay for the aggressive sort of motion-based offense that he runs, which involves cuts and a lot of quick passes and things like that. So it's like occasionally you're going to throw the ball away, whatever. Well, now we're still turning it over, but we're not getting those easy 2-point buckets that Riley was sort of famous for, which makes for a really painful, slow, difficult, bad offense. And the only guy who's really a bright spot, well, maybe two guys, Ace Glass, obviously has been great. We've talked about him. He had a tough time against Nevada. Not a huge surprise. Nevada is really strong and physical. He's a freshman, so like I would imagine he's going to struggle with those kinds of teams. He really struggled on twos in that game, which again, maybe a product of strength. And then Yalaho is, turning into a really nice player. Not a high volume player, but nice player. And then Tomas Thrasterson finally in that game looked like he maybe is healthy again. So that part's great, but it's like, man, you get beyond those three. I guess ND Okafor, pretty good post presence. But the way Riley runs offense, like posting up is like he will post guys up, but the post is supposed to open up other things with an easy pass. We saw it with Lawan Watts, right? Like that was kind of how he was used a lot last year. Pretty good passer out of the post. Indy Okafor, God bless him, has grown a ton as a post scorer, which is great. And also not a good passer. The ball kind of either dies or the offense dies when it gets in there, even if it's kind of like, for the old heads, remind you of like sophomore Aaron Baines.
Yeah.
Kind of like that. The ball goes in and it's either going up or he's dribbling 2 steps away from the basket and passing it back out to the 3-point line. Like he's not opening anybody up with a pass, and everything's just gummed up. So you got defense that's maybe a little worse, just as bad or worse than it's been. You got offense that's way worse. And it adds up to they're really bad. Like their 3 wins are against St. Thomas, which, is not a bad team overall, but they were sort of just we were a bad matchup for them. And then, okay, you beat Southern Utah. That's a team in the 300s. You beat Chaminade fucking barely, and that's a Division II team. Almost beat Arizona State, but didn't, right? Because you couldn't stop them at all. Almost beat Bradley, but didn't because you choked on defense at the end. Like, I don't know, man. It's hard to see a path forward where this team is any good.
And this isn't. This is definitely like versus some of that we'll say like the Ernie years or something a little bit more difficult of a non-conference schedule, but it's 89th overall
it's
on
not that
KenPom's
tough.
schedule. That's not that tough, and to only have 3 wins. You're saying this could be a really ugly final record.
Yeah.
Like if it's something we haven't had since the Ernie.
Well, you
years,
mentioned Ernie, and it's kind of like that in the sense that like with Ernie, you were like, this isn't going to get better. Like there's like, this is what it is. We're watching what it is. I don't know, man. I want to have faith that David Riley can do something, but we are, we're damn near a third of the way through the season at this point. Like, man, I don't know how or why anyone would expect something to suddenly be better. Like, I don't know, man. There's nothing you can do with personnel. He's got too many guys who can't play. He recruited them, but too many guys who can't play.
Yeah. And weirdly, Wazoo has not had a losing basketball season since 2019.
Weird, right?
Yeah.
That's what happens when Kyle Smith is your coach.
And I think that's part of the reason why this just feels so weird and frustrating. Like, we're just not used to losing this many games, especially in the non-conference. Bad non-conference is usually like you're 8-5 or, something like that.
Right.
They have no hope of that.
No.
Because they're going to lose to USC.
They got 3 games left.
And then USC, and then you got
Eastern.
You got Eastern on a neutral court. WSU's 173 on KenPom right now. Their Mercer is 169.
Mm-hmm.
Like, that's a toss up. At home it's not.
At home you get a little advantage at home,
but
anything that's between 40 and 60% is going to be basically a toss up. Eastern and Mercer, they're both at 60%. Like that's
Portland
kind
is
of a
only
coin flip.
Portland to open the WCC is only 57%, and they're 244 in KenPom. Like, this is just like crazy
go away.
Bad stuff. Like,
and then away to Seattle, which a lot of us will be at. That's like 24% right now. So it's ugly. I don't know. Is there anything that you see where you were like, hey, if they did this, it'd be better? So my one thing is, maybe while you're thinking about it, my one thing is like Adria Rodriguez has to stop playing. Like he is so bad, and I'm sure he's the nicest young man. I'm sure he's wonderful from Spain and all these things. He's very handsome, like all the things that you expect from a Spaniard. But like, man, the dude cannot play. Like he's a senior in eligibility because he's been playing second division pro ball in Spain, which should tell you something about what it's like in Europe when you get to those second divisions, like the level of competition. Like we're talking like low major basketball, or maybe even a little lower than that. Like it's pretty low stuff. And he can't play, man. He turns the ball over a ton. He's not a threat to score. Like defensively, he'll get you some steals, but he can't defend. So he's got to stop playing. Parker Garrett's got to get more minutes. Like that's it. Like Parker has taken a huge step forward. He's also not a threat to score consistently, but he's also like, he's not turning the ball over the way he did last year. He's way more athletic than Adria Rodriguez, like way more athletic than Adria Rodriguez. So he gives you at least a little something defensively on the ball. He rebounds better. Like, I don't know, man, like give me more of that. But like, I don't know how much of a difference that makes. Probably none, but it's like, at least I would like to see that. I think that would be a thing, that would help, but they are just like, I mean, they've got one guard who can play, honestly. And it's ace class. It's the freshman. Jerome Morton has really fallen off a cliff. Like he was like a really nice player for a while. I don't know if he's injured. He very well might be, because it's like, you can see a line where it's like he was his efficiencies. He was kind of a low usage, high efficiency guy, getting a lot of rebounds.
He's not getting to the line. He's not getting to the line anymore.
Nope. So maybe there's a scout out on him or something, or maybe he's injured. But he's not giving you anything either. I mean, I don't know, man. Maybe they ought to just go big and just put Glass on the floor with Tomas and Favors and two bigs and call it a day. Honestly, I have no idea. I know Dave wants two ball handlers at all times, but I don't know, man. They do not have two guards who can play other than like Garrett's. But Garrett's, I mean, I'm saying play him more, but I don't know if he's more than a 15-minute a night guy, maybe 20. I don't know.
You have diminishing
I don't know what you
returns at some
do
point.
with that, because the guards are so bad.
I mean, my thoughts are not much different than yours. Like like if you just look at Adria on the floor, but also when you look at his numbers, like it stands out like a sore thumb. Like the turnover rate is super high. The O rating is like Marcus Caper's freshman year level.
Mm-hmm.
Like it's really bad. Like 72 is so insanely bad, especially for a senior. Like it's just, like it's
just for context for people. 106 is going to be average, like roughly average 106, and he's 72. Like he is a full like 35% worse than the average player.
And he has a 35.5% turnover rate, which means 35.5 of the possessions that end with him end in a turnover.
Right.
So it's either turnover, free throw, or field goal attempt. 35% of his possessions end in a turnover.
Can't
like,
have that.
That's so bad. Like that's, if you're over for a point guard, you expect a little bit higher because you're handling the ball so much. But you don't want it over 20. And he's at 35. And that just to me is like, he has no idea what he's doing out there.
Nope.
And he makes so many kind of bad decisions with the ball. And like he just can't, like he's a detriment.
He's also a 6'4" guard who's shooting 39% on twos.
Yeah. And he's so reticent to take a 2-pointer. Like even when he's playing smaller guards, like he takes these really tough, like off balance floaters and stuff. He doesn't get to the rim. Yeah. Like sometimes it seems like he can get to the rim and he just doesn't. And it's just, maybe that's just not in his DNA.
11 free throw attempts.
You're 6'4", you should be able to throw down on
11 free throw attempts. He's made 4.
I know that's and he's made 1 of 7 from 3. Dude can't shoot.
Yeah, can't shoot. Can't anyway.
Like
so,
how?
I don't want to turn this into like ripping
like
on
it's
him.
That's what's crazy to me is like why in Riley's system? How the fuck did he recruit a guard like this that can't shoot? He recruited bizarre. 2 guards that can't shoot. That's 2 primary ball handlers that can't shoot.
Jerome Morton could shoot at his previous stop. He's just not shooting here.
But it wasn't high volume.
No, it wasn't. But he's not high volume here either. He shot 15 threes. You would expect him, based on his history, to make 5 or 6 of those.
But he also, 1. I mean, he shot 3 of 23 his freshman year.
I suppose that's true. Maybe
so-
we're dealing with a Noah Williams situation. Like,
Yeah, we did.
maybe the mirage was last year, and the real
Yeah.
true shooting is, he's a 20% shooter. Or
Maybe
whatever from three.
Adria was hitting threes in Europe. I don't know, but
Maybe.
like just
I
to
don't
when
know,
you
man.
you're in Riley's offense, and where like you're used to just every guy on the floor can shoot. Like last year, every guy on the floor could hit a three,
Yeah.
and at pretty much all times.
Yep.
And now you have, I mean, you obviously have Ace, and you have Tomas. If he's open, spot up shot, he'll take it. And you have Ugbo, and you have Yalaho and Vavers. And Vavers has been pretty inconsistent with that. He also takes tougher ones than some of the other guys.
For sure.
But
Well, and
but it's just-
Vavor's overall stats also don't include the Chaminade
Yeah.
game where he hit
Yeah.
like
we talked about that last week.
7
Yeah.
of 10 or whatever. So
Yeah, so it's just like, so yeah, I said it last week. Just you got to get the shooters on the floor,
I think so.
and
I mean, you're already not playing Riley's offense.
yeah,
You're already not doing that. So maybe just, scrap having the ball handlers, have a lot of shooters, spread it out. I mean, if they go, let's say, Glass and then Thrasterson at the 2, and then you go Vavers at the 3, and then you go Yalaho at the 4 and Ugbo at the 5, that's 5 shooters. And so maybe you just roll with your 5 shooters, and maybe that's, and you just go like just 5 out or 4 out with Ugbo, because Ugbo can definitely post up, even if he's even if he can also shoot. By the way, I need him to have the Dane Ericstrip confidence to shoot from 3. Like, I need that from him, because
Yeah.
I know he can hit threes, and he turns down a lot of them. And I'm like, quit fucking turning those down, my man. Shoot the ball. So maybe that's the way to go. By the way, Parker Garrett's 4 of 11 from 3, which is miles better. That is more threes than Jerome Morton and Adria Rodriguez have combined. I just want to point that out.
twice as many,
Twice as many as the two of them have combined. So I don't know. It's a really big conundrum. Riley put together the roster, so I mean he's got to own it. But I don't know, man. They got to adapt somehow. It's not going to start against USC. USC is going to truck them. USC is really good under. They upgraded by getting Musselman after Andy Enfield left. So
definitely.
they that's a good ass team, and yeah, I don't know. It's going to get ugly. I hope they give us something to like. I want to like him. By the way, David Riley, by all accounts, a wonderful man. So this is not personal. It's just like the team stinks, and somehow he's got to figure out a way to make him better. And I don't know how you do that when you've got one guard who can play, and he's a freshman. I'm not sure. I'm not sure what the path forward is at that point, but I don't know. Probably, although I don't know, man. Do you like their prospects better than the women? Because the women fucking suck too. Like, this is bad. Like, they lost to Eastern
at
tonight.
least, yeah. For the sake of it, what you could explain some of it with the women is they as they typically do it, have played an insanely hard schedule, and they just don't have
Maybe
it
the
this
hardest
year.
schedule I've ever seen from a team.
But Eastern is not a team they should lose to.
No, it's not.
But that really happens with teams. Like if they play these hard schedules and they don't go well,
Catches up eventually.
it catches up. Like you get worn down and you don't have that motivation to. You're just like, well, we're 1-8. Who the fuck cares? Yeah. So yeah, they're that's just brutal. Their one win is actually pretty impressive, but like they held tough with some really good teams. But yeah, now they're just struggling. And
By the
obviously
way, if
they
you're
got
curious,
blown out by LSU.
Via Bart Torvik, our good friend Bart, not our good friend, but whatever. 4th for their non-conference schedule, ranks 4th in the country. So,
And in normal Cami years,
oops, excuse me. I'm sorry. They're no, wait, that's right. I got that right. Yes, sorry. 4th non-conference schedule ranks 4th, factoring in all their games for the year. WCC games make it 80th. So
it's
do
going to
have,
get
they do
easier,
have
you're
some
telling
relief
me.
coming up, but they're not going to play teams like much worse than Eastern.
Yeah.
And they played terrible tonight against Eastern. The defense was a mess. They can't score. The offense is horrendous. They've got one person who can score consistently. They've got two other people who can score sometimes. And then they've got a whole roster full of people who are horrible offensive players. And I don't know how you win like that.
Yeah, even under when they had Charlize, like even those teams struggled to score sometimes. So
Yep.
Cammy's always been more of a defensive minded coach. Has never had like a high flying offense, but this is definitely the low point in terms of that.
Yeah.
And it sucks.
Well, and this game was especially, right? Like they gave up 1.06 points to Eastern. By the way, the scoring environment in women's basketball is a bit lower than the scoring environment in men's basketball. They're not as efficient. So giving up 1.06 points per possession is quite bad versus men's where that would be pretty average. That was their second worst just on a strictly on an adjusted points per possession basis was their second worst defensive performance of the year, which comes on the heels, by the way, of their best one against BYU. That was like, I mean, they were this close to at least taking BYU to overtime. BYU's a good team. BYU will probably be in the NCAA tournament, or at least will be a bubble team. Fuck, they were right there. They lost that game on a really terrible defensive possession at the end, even though they played defense really well overall. I don't know, man. Cammie's a hero. Cammie is a legend. Cammie can stay however long she wants. Cammie's got to figure out how to do something different. I mean, she lost a ton of kids to the portal, replaced them all with freshmen, basically. And it's
she I know that NIL isn't the support out there, but you could still get kids out of the portal without NIL. They're not, especially in basketball.
We just lost to Eastern. Eastern doesn't have any NIL either.
Yeah,
we lost to Idaho.
So
Idaho doesn't have any NIL. And we should be well above those two programs. We should be well beyond them.
You should definitely, if you had a critique, the critique you have for her this year is like you should have been trying to bring in some upperclassmen to replace
for sure
those departures, and this is where you're at, because we're talking about how bad the men's team is, and they are 178 on Bart Torvik. The women are 202.
Yep.
Which is a huge drop.
A far cry from being like 40s and 50s under when Charlize was there and they were making NCAA.
And then like around 100 last year, and so this is quite a drop off.
Well, okay, if we I don't know if you're looking at the same page I am, but Bart goes back to 2021. That team ranked 33rd, 9 seed in the tournament. 2022, that team ranked 48th, 8 seed. Year after that, 2023, they ranked 37th, 5 seed. Year after that, 45th, but they missed out on the tournament. Last year, 112, and this year, 202. It's pretty.
That's a huge
brutal
drop, especially under the same coach.
Yeah, and of course, all of the really high teams, those coincide with Charlize. So not a huge shock on that point, but also that team that ranked 45th that didn't make the tournament, Charlize missed half the season, right? I think is about what it was.
Well, they were poised to be a very high seed with Charlize that year, be a top 4 seed,
and they still ended up finishing with 21 wins and 7 Pac-12 wins. Like they were not. Even after she went down, I mean, they struggled, but against tough opponents, they were not horrible. So it's not like they completely fell apart. It's not like it was a one-person show. And then last year they win another 21 games, 14 conference wins. Again, missed the tournament because the WCC is terrible, but whatever. lose a ton of talent, and then I mean they are almost unwatchable. It's so bad.
Yeah, it's
So I
rough
don't
to
know.
watch.
I turned it off at halftime tonight. They played better in the second half, but yeah,
Charlie's still somehow still playing.
somehow still playing after being in.
One of the best teams in the country.
Yeah, whatever. We don't talk about that. All right, last couple things. I don't know. Do you want to talk soccer coach? Apparently, we have a new soccer coach. They come from Montana, which is good. Montana's been great in the Big Sky. If I recall, Montana came to Pullman and dealt us a pretty bad loss one time. So that part's great. Excited about that. Probably upgraded there. Schulenberger's time, as we talked about last week, had kind of run out, I think, anyway. So probably due for a change. So that part's great. I'm excited about that. You excited about that?
Yeah, like I mean, yeah,
I don't know
like
anything about how they play.
Yeah, I don't know either. Hopefully it's different.
Yeah. Hopefully it's not just lump it up and let your forward get the shit beat out of them to try and knock down balls and chase hopeless balls. Hopefully they play some beautiful soccer. Let's play some beautiful soccer.
Yeah. I mean, you got potential here in the new leagues and stuff to be a top soccer program, and that'd be cool. So obviously there's the history. So bring it back to that.
His name is Chris. I'm probably going to pronounce this wrong. Sidowicki? Maybe that's how you Citowicki. I'm sure I will figure that out soon enough. But he's been the coach since 2018 there, and has done a really great job. He entered last season with a record of 68, 35, and 27. Second winningest coach in program history. Teams in Big Sky play went 39, 8, and 12. Yeah, I mean that's really good.
That's what you like to see, dominating the league.
Yep.
Like that. So hopefully good. Hopefully get higher. Obviously, WSU's had something like 3 coaches in a row that have went to a tournament. So need a fourth.
Yeah, let's get back to doing that. I'd be happy about that.
So yeah, there's definitely like it was fun, when we had just a dominant soccer team, and I would like to see that again.
Yeah, volleyball coach got an extension, seemed deserved, given the departure of Greeny and how they seem to kind of stay afloat there. So that's good, I guess. I don't know. We talked last week about cross country, so I think we're good on that.
Yeah.
We missing anything else?
Volleyball is definitely one of the bright spots in the fall sports.
Yeah. Yep.
They definitely kind of petered at the end, but they looked like they were contending for the title for
lots of hope
WCC
there.
title for a long time.
In theory, lots of players returning, so that should be good. Anything else, or you want me to start the music?
Start the music, Jeff.
All right. Well, here we go. All right, it's gonna fade in slowly. This would be the point. Hey, sign up for the newsletter if you don't have the newsletter. If you made it this far, you probably already subscribed to the newsletter. So I'm probably just talking to people who already do. But if you made it this far and you're not a premium subscriber, man, please join us. Not because I want your money, but because the Slack is so fucking fun. We are spending all day talking about coaches when maybe we ought to be, I don't know, grading tests. No, that would be somebody else. I don't know. That's definitely not talking about myself. So do that and follow us on socials or whatever. So with that, Craig, I say go fucking Cougs.
Go fucking Cougs, Jeff.
Black Lives Matter.
Black Lives Matter.
Get vaccinated.
Yep. Get poked.
Get poked.
Support or join a union if you can.
Support or join a union. Yep.
Don't drink Starbucks.
No.
Free Palestine.
All that good stuff.
Whatever other lefty things we could throw at you, make you uncomfortable.
There we go.